Hello, I am Jim Rohn, and if you've ever felt like you're in love with someone who always keeps their distance, constantly avoids emotions, or makes you feel lonely even when you're in a relationship, then this video is for you. Why do they pull away every time you want to get closer? Why are you always the only one trying to connect? If these questions have been bothering you, you might be dating someone with an avoidant attachment style, and the impact of this relationship on your psychology, emotions, and even your self-worth could be deeper than you think. In today's video, I'll help you understand the signs, potential consequences, and specific strategies to no longer feel trapped in this emotionally painful cycle. Watch till the end, because this might be the turning point that changes how you love, starting with loving yourself first. And if this topic resonates with you, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, as I share new videos every day about attachment psychology, healing, and building lasting relationships. Now let's start exploring the real impact of dating an avoidant. Before diving into the impact of loving an avoidant, you need to understand one thing. Avoidant attachment is not a bad personality trait, but rather a way of reacting to intimate emotions, and it stems from deep-rooted experiences in the past. People with this attachment style often grow up in environments lacking comfort, emotional connection, or encouragement to express their feelings. They learn to protect themselves by retreating, closing their hearts, and keeping a distance because intimacy makes them feel unsafe. When they enter a romantic relationship, avoidants often fear closeness, shy away from commitment, and struggle to share their true feelings. Although they may care at times, they tend to withdraw whenever the relationship becomes deeper. This causes their partner to feel abandoned, unsettled, and lonely even within the relationship they're trying to maintain. If you're in such a relationship and your partner makes no effort to change or improve, the sense of disconnection will only grow. Over time, you'll become exhausted from constantly giving without receiving, lose trust in love, and even begin to close off like they do. The solution lies not just in waiting for the other person to change, but in voicing your own needs, learning to care for your emotions, and setting clear boundaries. If not, you'll gradually lose yourself in the relationship, and the saddest part is you might start believing that love is always tied to loneliness. Avoidant behavior not only affects your romantic relationship but also seeps into who you are. It's like a cold wind, initially just making you shiver, but gradually it can sweep through other areas of your life, from friendships, work, to how you view yourself. The result? A mess of emotions that you have no idea how to clean up. I want to emphasize one thing so you don't misunderstand. Not everyone with an avoidant attachment style is beyond help. Not at all. Every attachment style, even the most difficult ones, can change. I've seen dozens of people make dramatic transformations, as if they flipped a switch and became a better version of themselves. So, don't rush to think that the door is closed. But, and this is the important part, you can't wait forever. Give yourself a reasonable deadline. How long are you willing to be patient for the other person to change? During that time, try applying the tips or strategies you've learned, maybe from this channel or from courses we share, to see if things improve. If, in the end, you still only see a wall of silence, then it's time to be honest with yourself. Think about it. If this person won't budge, what will I face in the future? This is not the time to weave fantasies, but to face the reality. You deserve a relationship where both of you make an effort, not just you carrying the load. So, give yourself a timeline, a clear opportunity, and then decide what's best for you. Life isn't about waiting forever for someone who doesn't want to step forward, right? Once your emotional needs are constantly ignored, even after you've tried to share and express them clearly, sooner or later you will fall into a cycle of stress and obsession. You'll not only be disappointed in the relationship, but also easily get caught up in thoughts like, how can I get the other person to change? Or why am I never enough? Questions that slowly make you forget about yourself. Many people, especially those with an anxious attachment style, often get stuck in this state. It's not the kind of horror movie obsession, but more like constantly thinking about the other person or the relationship to the point where you forget the world around you. I've met quite a few people, especially those who are anxious in relationships, caught up in this spiral. They focus on their avoidant partner as if that's the center of the universe, then forget everything else. Their career slips away, time with their kids gets pushed aside, personal joys or big dreams start to fade. They no longer care about family, friends, or anything that once made them feel whole, simply because their mind is trapped in the shortcomings of the relationship. The unfortunate part is, instead of setting a clear boundary, something like, okay, I'll wait and see if anything changes, then trying to talk more, track progress, or build a habit of recognizing efforts together, they choose to just sit there, staring at what's wrong. The result? Their energy gets drained, like a phone battery dropping to 0% without knowing why. They could have used that energy to nurture themselves, to grow, take care of friendships, family, or pursue career goals, but instead, they let it slip through their fingers. If they're not careful, this way of living can turn them into a faint shadow, losing the vitality they once had. Instead of repeatedly dwelling on disappointment, it's essential for you to take a moment to stop and look at the bigger picture. Ask yourself, have I expressed my needs? Has the other person made an effort to respond? Am I living too much for them and forgetting myself? Setting clear time boundaries, tracking the progress of the relationship, and learning to appreciate your own needs is the way to regain balance. Otherwise, you'll continue to trade your vitality and personal happiness just to hold on to something that isn't meant for you. Remember, emotional energy is finite. Don't pour it all into a place that gives no response. If you're stuck in this situation, take a pause and ask yourself, why do I keep pouring my energy into someone who doesn't even bother to respond? Not to beat yourself up, but to gain more clarity about yourself. The fact that the other person isn't investing in return doesn't make them a bad person. Sometimes they simply aren't the peace you need. Maybe you've tried everything, expressing your desires, setting boundaries, even praising their efforts when they try, but still, all you get is silence. With avoidant people, it's not always that they don't want to, but they fear. Fear of opening up, fear of being hurt, or simply not being ready to enter the emotional game. But the bigger question is, why are you patiently listening to them, but not listening to yourself? When you clearly see their actions, which bring no joy or fulfillment to you, why do you still hold on? Think about it. If you're not happy, not being fulfilled, then what's keeping you there? The answer may lie in how you view yourself. We often accept from others what we think we deserve. It's like a mirror. A relationship reflects how you love, or don't love, yourself, reflecting the invisible comfort zone you've become familiar with for a long time. Are you staying because it's the comfortable thing? In a strange way because it's familiar even though it's not joyful? So, try to look deeper. The fact that the other person doesn't respond doesn't mean they're bad, but you continuing to stay unhappy is worth considering. Are you putting their needs above your own? Or are you waiting for a miracle and forgetting that your happiness matters too? Loving yourself isn't selfish. It's how you realize if someone isn't on the same wavelength as you, maybe it's time to move on, rather than staying in the cold wind. How you treat your own emotions and needs often serves as a template for what you accept from others. If you're used to ignoring yourself, telling yourself, never mind, when you're sad or need something, then you'll likely let others do the same to you without resistance. This is something worth noticing, especially when you feel your relationship is slipping away from your expectations, like a car running out of gas and you're still pressing the accelerator. If you've tried to have serious conversations, expressed yourself fully, but things are still stuck, or if you're struggling to love yourself, don't worry. There's a way out. We have a course on self-love that you can try for free for 14 days. Sounds appealing, right? This course is not just about learning for fun, it truly helps you rebuild your confidence from scratch. You'll learn how to recognize your needs, how to meet them yourself, and feel stronger, not just with yourself, but also in how you treat yourself. Instead of beating yourself up or letting negative thoughts spin in your head, you'll know how to embrace yourself with gentleness. The next thing you need to be aware of is, Being with an avoidant person for too long can cause you to close off as well. When a relationship drags on in emotional silence, lacking connection, lacking response from the other person, you'll start developing a self-protection mechanism. You no longer want to share, you no longer dare to hope, and you even become cold and guarded with your own feelings. Not just with the other person, but with those around you. Imagine you're standing in a cold room day after day. Eventually, you'll curl up to keep warm. I'm not saying all avoidants are like this. Some will try, will show up, and will work with you to build a stronger relationship. But there are also those who won't move an inch. And if you stay with the latter type for a long time, especially over years, you may inadvertently turn yourself into an avoidant version of yourself. Closed off, distant, as a way to protect yourself from endless disappointment. The fourth point is even more important. That relationship can dig up old scars. If you've ever carried the feeling of, "I'm not good enough," or "I don't matter to anyone," and the other person keeps unintentionally or deliberately making you feel that way by being indifferent or absent, then that wound will never heal. It's like a scratch that keeps rubbing, bleeding more and more. Our minds work based on repetition and emotion. Every time you feel abandoned, your brain etches a new groove, making you believe that you really don't deserve better. So, what's crucial is that you need to pay attention. Is the other person's lack of change making things worse for you? Not to blame, but to protect yourself. If you stay stuck in a loop of repeating hurts, it not only drains you, but also makes the dark corners of your heart harder to heal. Ask yourself, do I want to continue letting someone else unintentionally carve another wound into me? Life is for healing and moving forward, not for standing still and enduring. So where does the real solution lie? How can you not only escape a harmful relationship, but also heal deeply the hidden emotions inside? The answer lies in the subconscious, where all those old beliefs, repetitive behavioral patterns that lead you into unhealthy relationships are stored. Most of what you're experiencing in your current relationships doesn't only come from the present, it's programmed from the past, from childhood experiences, from careless words, from unhealed wounds. You may unconsciously carry beliefs like, "I'm not worthy of love," "I have to work really hard to be recognized," or "I'm always the one left behind." These limiting beliefs become an inner map that leads you to similar types of people or relationships, even though you don't want them. Therefore, reprogramming the subconscious is a foundational and necessary step. It not only helps you change surface behaviors, but also fundamentally alters the way you perceive yourself, which in turn changes how you love and are loved. This process starts with clearly identifying the limiting beliefs that are operating within you, such as, "I'm always rejected," "I'm not good enough to keep someone," or "closeness always leads to hurt." After that, you need to replace these old beliefs with new, positive, and nurturing beliefs, like, "I deserve a complete love," "My feelings are valuable," "I am whole even when no one is around." This is not about repeating a few positive affirmations and hoping everything will change. Reprogramming the subconscious is an active, guided process that requires you to truly listen to yourself, look deeply at the behavioral patterns that have been ingrained over time, and regularly repeat new beliefs combined with positive emotions to create new neural connections in the brain. You can also support this process through meditation, journaling, inner healing therapy, or enrolling in in-depth personal development and attachment healing courses. Because when you heal internally, you will no longer be attracted to people who make you feel inadequate. You will start setting clear boundaries, choosing the right people, and entering relationships with strength and completeness. Reprogramming the subconscious doesn't just change the way you love, it changes your entire life. Because when you know you deserve it, you will no longer accept things that are not worthy. Break old behavioral patterns with concrete actions. If you often give in to keep someone, try setting a boundary once, even a small one, like saying no to something that makes you uncomfortable. At first, it will be hard, like learning to ride a bike for the first time, but each small step is a signal to the subconscious that you are changing. Combined with self-care, meditation, breathing exercises, or simply spending time doing what you love, you will feel stronger, no longer carried away by old wounds. This process isn't quick, but with persistence you will see that the subconscious is no longer the silent driver, but rather a companion helping you live according to your value. And that is true emotional freedom. That being said, not everyone with an avoidant attachment style will always be frozen in that behavior. Some people truly transform, like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. They begin to show up, change visibly, and turn the relationship into a profound, valuable journey. I've seen cases like this, and truly, they are proof that people can grow if they want to. But there are also those who are harder than stone, unwilling to budge, no matter how patient you are. And this is when you need to take the wheel. How long will you wait before it's enough? Imagine you're playing a waiting game, but no one tells you when the game will end. You could stand there forever hoping they will wake up, but is it worth it? The important thing is for you to ask yourself, what do I need to feel okay? What are my limits? Maybe you need consistent care, or at least the feeling of being listened to, things that aren't too extravagant, right? So draw a line. I'll give them X months to change, but after that I have to think about myself. This isn't selfish, it's how you keep your soul from being worn down. This decision is like choosing between standing in the rain waiting for someone to bring an umbrella or finding shelter on your own. If they refuse to change, you cannot force them, but you can choose to love yourself enough to walk away. The deadline is yours, no one else's. Ask yourself, how do I want to live? What do I deserve? When you are clear with yourself, everything will become clearer, and you'll know what the best path is, to stay or let go. Give yourself the right to set a deadline, a period long enough to observe and evaluate the real changes, not based on vague hope. If change doesn't come, you will know when to let go and return to taking care of yourself. You are not selfish for prioritizing your emotions and needs. You are simply learning how to choose the right person, someone who is also willing to step toward you, not leave you standing alone on this emotional journey. In conclusion, the journey in relationships, whether with an avoidant or anyone else, is an opportunity for us to look deeply into ourselves. It's not just about waiting for the other person to change, but also about how we love ourselves, set boundaries, and reprogram old beliefs in our subconscious. Some people will grow with you, making the relationship deeper. Some will not, and that's okay, as long as you know you deserve happiness and are willing to walk away when necessary. Most importantly, don't let old wounds define you. Take time to heal, upgrade your version of yourself, and choose what brings light to your life. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Your presence is a huge motivation for me to continue sharing. I truly appreciate every second you spend here, listening and walking alongside these stories. If you found this content helpful, don't forget to click the subscribe button so you won't miss the next videos. We still have so many exciting things to explore together. And leave a comment below. Share your thoughts. What are you facing in your relationship? Have you set boundaries or reprogrammed your self-beliefs? Every story of yours is a valuable source of inspiration. Together we not only talk about change, but we live it. See you in the next video. Always be kind to yourself.